C9 is going to be really hard to beat. We were able to take a game off of them in the playoffs. We kind of had a comp that they didn't know how to deal with, and we threw them off guard.
They said they were the underdog, so they don't let anything to chance, and EnVy take it to the late game.
If we want to beat C9, we have to kind of like hit them with something that they don't expect.
C9이랑 아무래도 상대 전적이 많이 밀리고 또 되게 잘하는 선수들이라서 이겨도 되게 힘들게 이기고.
There's a chance. I'd hope so. It'd be a good story to have teams like twice in a row just go through from last to first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day 2 of the North American Regional Qualifier. 3 teams remain in contention for the final spot at Worlds, and fans are out in force to see their favorite players through to the finish. Now, Impact earlier made a splash during the NA Summer Playoffs. He's readying up to lead Cloud9 in their Gauntlet push. We'll see if they can show up what they did last year. He'll, of course, face off against Seraph, who had a big day yesterday versus Liquid. EnVy will be looking to repeat that success in round 2 of the Regional Qualifier. Thank you so much for watching with us today. I'm James Patterson, and joining me on the analyst desk for today's games are Mark Zimmerman and Alberto Crumzangifo, my original dynamic duo of this split. It's good to have you both back. A little sad that you didn't bring the ties with you.
I only wear ties when you're not here.
Come on, what do I have to do,
I feel like I just want you to look good, and I don't want to pull away from it, and then I need to bring it up when you're not here.
A true wingman on the desk.
Well, now I'm just stuck on the side of the desk again. I had the glory of the middle.
That's true for one day and one day only.
Yeah.
Crumbs was
At
the
least
center of
I
attention.
know what it's like. Honestly, I'd rather be on the side.
Yeah, it's not easy.
There's a lot of pressure.
Heavy weighs the crown.
It's a lot of pressure. You get to you like me, get to look one direction the whole day.
Yeah.
He has to do the whole swivel head thing, and that's awful. Anyway, let's start the day off by taking a look at the teams who have qualified for Worlds already. INTZ Esports has secured their international wildcard slot by defeating Dark Passage 3-2 yesterday. AHQ Esports Club has also qualified for Worlds following their 3-0 victory over Machi in the LMS's 2016 regional final. So, gentlemen, shaping up. We're just looking for those last 3 teams, one from Europe, one from NA, and our final wild card position. But ultimately, shaping up to be a very interesting World Final with some players, as you mentioned yesterday, Ambition, for example, much deserving of being at the World Championship. We're finally going to get to see him play.
I'm living vicariously through him, so.
Jungler love from
One, of
season
course,
2.
we have appearances by people like Core JJ, you know, of just being in the NALCS, you know, a split or two ago on Dignitas, and here he is making his trip to Worlds in the support position. Regardless to say, we have a couple more people to be joining them. The World's group stage will begin September 29th in San Francisco's Bill Graham Auditorium before moving on to Chicago, New York, and then back to Los Angeles. Tickets are still available for group stages and semifinals, so head over to lolesports.com/tickets to reserve your spot. And join us, join us as the best teams in the world face off for the Summoners Cup. Now, we still need to qualify or determine the final teams headed to Worlds, and yesterday, Team EnVy and Liquid faced off in the first round of the NA Regional Qualifier, with EnVy coming up victorious and moving ahead to today's match against Cloud9. Winner of this will, of course, move on to face Immortals in that final best-of-5.
Yeah, and I think we saw yesterday was a very interesting matchup where TL was grabbing a lot of early leads and then clearly not cohesive as a team and lost most major team fights, and that's a little scary for EnVy to have an early game like that going up against much more coordinated team in Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, discussing what we saw yesterday and then kind of relating it today, EnVy is going to have to step it up against Cloud9 in those early games, because you have to imagine if Cloud9 is able to create a lead like Team Liquid did, 8K in Game 1 or 3.5K at 15 minutes in Game 2, they're not going to let EnVy back into this series.
Well, I think they hit the nail on the head as to what they need to do to beat Cloud9. They said we got to hit them with something that they're not expecting. We saw the Morgana support. We know that they have an unconventional champion pool in pretty much all their roles. So it worked in the quarterfinals for Game 1 way back, but maybe this time around they have more picks that they can actually offer for Cloud9. It's kind of hard to imagine the team that just came back from the finals is going to be expanding their champion pool and know exactly what EnVy can bring out.
The problem for me, though, is the fact that Seraph is such an important part for EnVy and has a couple of those flex weird picks, and Impact, as we had seen throughout the whole playoffs, was such a beast at just absorbing all the pressure. Yeah, he's like, just give me Gnar, give me this, I don't care, I'll perform great. And I think that's such a favorable matchup for Cloud9 that he can just deal with Seraph pretty easily.
All right, well, without further ado, we're hungry for games here in NA. It's time to get the show on the road, so we're going to send it over to our casters to get the match underway.